Many women assume that if a man says the right words and plans the perfect dates, he is truly invested. But have you ever wondered if he is just enjoying your company or if he is deeply emotionally attached to you? It is a painful question because it hurts to mistake fleeting interest for profound emotional attachment, to share physical intimacy only to realize you might just be an option, leaving you feeling used and spiritually drained. The truth is, no matter how much a man tries to hide it, he can easily fake surface-level romance. He can play a role, but he cannot fake the deep safety of his nervous system. Don't look at what he buys you. Look at how his energy shifts when he is just sitting quietly beside you. Let's break down the undeniable signs.
Think about a time when you felt completely, utterly exhausted. Not just physically, but soul tired. For women over 55, we have spent decades fixing things, raising children until the nest is empty, and holding the world together. We know exactly what it looks like when a man is carrying a heavy burden. Consider Evelyn, a beautiful, independent woman of 58. She deeply understood her self-worth and had no interest in playing games. She was seeing Robert, a 62-year-old man who was usually strong, always the classic provider. One weekend, Robert was entirely overwhelmed by a stressful life transition. A man who only has fleeting interest would pull away. He would cancel plans and hide because his ego needs him to look perfect. But Robert didn't run away. He drove straight to Evelyn's house, looking utterly depleted. And here is the secret to Evelyn's power. She didn't panic or try to be his healer. She didn't smother him with a million anxious questions. She simply made a pot of tea and sat right next to him, in absolute silence. Her graceful nonchalance, her steady, quiet presence was the exact anchor his nervous system craved. This is what profound emotional intimacy looks like. As they sat there, she watched his subconscious behaviors shift. He let out a long, heavy breath. The tension in his jaw melted away. His shoulders, which had been tight all day, finally dropped as he leaned into her. He didn't need her to solve his problems. He just needed a safe place to drop his armor and simply be human. Because when a man is truly attached, your presence becomes his emotional home.
Sign 1. The armor drop. Surrendering the fixer mode. Studies have shown that a man's deepest level of trust is rarely shown through his strength or his success. It is shown through his willingness to let you see his absolute exhaustion. For men in their late 50s, 60s, and beyond, life has rigorously trained them to be the ultimate problem solvers. They have spent decades wearing a heavy, invisible suit of armor, building careers, navigating divorces, providing for families, and quietly burying their own anxieties deep inside. They have been taught that their value comes from what they can provide and how well they can keep it all together. They are secretly terrified of looking vulnerable or lost. So when a mature man chooses to drop that armor in front of you, it is not an accident. It is a profound subconscious behavior that screams deep attachment. Imagine you are at Linda's house, a vibrant, elegant woman of 64. She had been seeing David, a retired executive, for about 6 months. David was usually perfectly composed. He was the man who effortlessly opened doors, consistently had the perfect dinner reservations, and never let a single complaint slip from his lips. To the outside world, he was an absolute fortress. But one rainy Tuesday evening, he came to Linda's house after a brutally emotional day. He was dealing with his aging mother's declining health, and the weight of the world was clearly on his shoulders. He didn't bring wine, he didn't have a charming story to tell. He just walked through her door, sat heavily on her sofa, let out a shaky breath, and buried his face in his hands.
He softly whispered, "I just don't know if I am strong enough to handle this." Many women might panic in this exact moment. They might feel the anxious urge to fix him, to offer 100 unsolicited solutions, or worse, feel insecure that he isn't showering them with romantic attention. But Linda deeply understood her self-worth. She knew that a queen does not need to manage a man's emotions. She practiced graceful nonchalance. She simply sat beside him, placed a warm hand on his shoulder, and allowed him to fall apart safely. She offered him the rarest gift, her silent presence. Stop chasing, just observe. Notice how striking this contrast is. To his colleagues, to his children, to his friends, he is the rock. But with you, he allows himself to be beautifully, authentically human, raw and totally unguarded. This, my beautiful friends, is not a sign of weakness. This is the ultimate surrender of the male ego. When a man lets you see him without his polished mask, he is silently declaring that you are his emotional sanctuary. This is the very foundation of true emotional intimacy. A man who only views you as a temporary fun option will never let you see his cracks. He will keep the dynamic purely transactional. He will only show up when he feels impressive. But a man who is profoundly emotionally attached trusts you with his darkest, heaviest days. He trusts that your grounded energy is strong enough to hold him when he cannot hold himself. But surrendering his ego is only the first piece of the puzzle, because true attachment also changes how his body functions when you are not around.
The second sign, the emotional anchor, the disturbance of your absence. Most people misunderstand the critical difference between insecure obsession and the quiet safety of true emotional attachment. When a man is simply interested in you, your absence is nothing more than a minor inconvenience. He might miss the fun you provide, but his daily life continues perfectly fine. However, when a man has formed a profound psychological bond, your absence creates a subtle yet undeniable emotional disturbance. It is a biological shift. You are not just an option on his schedule anymore. You have become his baseline of peace. I understand because I've heard this question countless times. It reminds me of Susan, a graceful, independent woman of 61. After her children had grown and moved away, Susan spent years rediscovering her own identity. She built a rich, peaceful life that she fiercely protected. She started dating Richard, a 66-year-old architect who was charming but highly focused on his routines. One weekend, Susan decided to go out of town to visit her sister. Because she was so grounded in her queen's mindset, she embraced her independence. She didn't feel the anxious need to text him every single hour. She simply went away and enjoyed her vibrant life. If Richard was insecure, he would have bombarded her with anxious messages. He would have demanded her attention, driven by his own ego and a deep fear of losing control. But true attachment looks entirely different. It is not about him needing to control you, it is about his nervous system looking for its anchor.
Richard didn't send a dozen frantic texts. Instead, his subconscious behaviors revealed everything. He called her on Sunday morning, not to check up on her, but simply because his morning coffee felt incomplete without hearing her voice. When Susan answered the phone, she noticed something profound. The moment he heard her say hello, his voice physically dropped in pitch. He let out a quiet, almost imperceptible sigh of relief. He told her that his house felt too silent and that he couldn't quite focus on his reading. This is the disturbance of your absence. He wasn't falling apart, but his internal world felt just a little bit out of tune. For men in their 60s and 70s, they are deeply set in their ways. They value their peace and solitude above almost everything else. If a man at this stage of life finds that his cherished routines actually feel empty without you, that is a monumental shift. It means your energy has completely bypassed his logical mind and woven itself into his daily biology. You are the prize. He doesn't just want you around, his body actually expects you to be there. We know that we do not want a man who suffocates us with neediness. We want a man who respects our independence, but breathes a little easier just knowing we exist. When a man is attached, his nervous system literally calibrates to your presence. If you leave the room, he subconsciously tracks your movements. When you go out of town, he feels a lingering sense of imbalance until you return. This level of emotional intimacy cannot be faked. It is a silent, powerful testament to the fact that you have become his emotional home.
For women over 55, relationships feel different. We learn that our silence is our most powerful tool. The next time the man in your life is facing a heavy, stressful moment, instead of stepping in to be his therapist or anxiously trying to soothe him, I want you to intentionally pull back your energy. Practice graceful nonchalance. Just pour him a warm cup of coffee, sit down across from him, and offer him your absolute silence. Do not ask him what is wrong. Do not try to fix his mood. Just exist calmly in the same room. And then, closely watch his subconscious behaviors. Watch what his nervous system does when you stop chasing his emotions. If he is only looking for surface-level fun, this quiet intimacy will make him deeply uncomfortable. His ego will feel restless, and he will find a quick excuse to leave the room. He will run away. But if he has truly anchored himself to you, he won't run. He will physically lean into your quiet space. He will stay right there with you, because your steady, non-reactive presence is the only medicine he needs. A woman who deeply understands her self-worth never forces a connection. She simply pulls back
and allows him the safe space to realize exactly what he has. As we get older, we become wiser, and we finally understand that true love is never a frantic chase. It is a calm, beautiful surrender. You must always remember, you are the prize. You deserve a love that makes you feel cherished, not confused. Stop chasing, start choosing. Choose the men who treat your heart like their emotional home. Have you ever noticed this profound emotional disturbance in a man when you pulled your energy back? Or perhaps you have experienced a time when a man ran away from the silence, proving he was just looking for fun. Please share your beautiful stories in the comments below. Your wisdom might be exactly what another woman needs to hear today. If you found this video helpful, do not forget to like and subscribe for more insights on relationships and human behavior. Thank you for watching, and remember, never settle for less than you deserve. I will see you in the next video.